The Joplin Redevelopment Corporation has been around for a number of years, has been used in the past basically to buy right-of-way within the city limits when it is looking to widen a street or other matters such as that. So the Redevelopment Corporation has been around for a number of years. The beneficiary of this TIF is the Joplin Redevelopment Corporation. It is not a private developer. And that's something that I think is unique. That you as citizens of the city of Joplin, you basically are the shareholders of this corporation called Joplin. So in effect, your subsidiary, the Joplin Redevelopment Corporation, is truly the beneficiary of this capital. That $60 million of capital effectively goes into the Redevelopment Corporation to fund these permitted uses. The responsibilities of the TIF Commission, they create a redevelopment plan, and so much of this is by statute. Again, these aren't things that the city of Joplin did differently than others. These are by statute per Missouri law. They have to create a redevelopment plan that basically outlines a number of things about the particular projects, where the capital would go into, how long the TIF plan would be in existence, the redevelopment project parameters. As I mentioned, there's about $800 million of redevelopment projects, and some of the capital obviously is coming from the TIF. They have to hold a required public hearing. This coming Friday at 6 o'clock will be a public hearing. So people that have questions, people that want to voice their opinion, we encourage people to come and talk about it. The public hearing will be right here in the council chambers as well. They have to prepare an economic impact analysis. What that means is, what is the economic impact to the school district? What is the economic impact to the county for all of these different projects? By putting together, if we're going to invest this money in this particular project, what is the return that this community is basically realizing as a result of that investment? They need to prepare a blight study. As I think everyone knows, when you walk through the EDR area, which EDR is the expedited debris removal area, which is where the tornado had its largest impact, that area is blighted. And what we are looking to do is we are looking to come up with a number of programs that encourage and continue to stimulate development. As I think many people know, there's a lot of development that has taken place. We're never going to stand in the way of that development. We encourage it. We're looking forward to that. But what we're trying to do is, how can we come up with programs that can encourage this development to take place? Let me give you an example, and I'll let you understand kind of how the TIF kind of works. There's a number of people that lived in homes, a single-family home in the EDR, that may have been paying $400 or $500 a month in rent. And $400 or $500 a month may have been sufficient to cover principal, interest, taxes, and insurance for a house that's 50 years old. That house is no longer here. To replace that exact same house today costs $100,000. The principal, interest, taxes, and insurance on that new home is probably $800 or $900. The tornado priced many people out of their homes where they can't come back because they can't afford to pay $800 or $900. Some of the programs that we're talking about, in one case, it's called the Principal Reduction Program, where we can get people back into a home that cost $100,000, yet their net true investment is only around $70,000. And by the time you start looking at some of the grants, Community Development Block Grant money from HUD, Salvation Army, other funding programs that are out there, it enables us to be able to get people back into a home. And so it's not a situation where somebody's saying, do I really want to rebuild my home? Do I want to be the only home on a particular block? But if I start to see all of this other development, it truly becomes the tipping point that encourages people to come back. And with a lot of the other projects that we're talking about, whether it's on 20th Street, on Main Street, Connecticut, or many of the other streets that we're focusing on, to all of a sudden see a loft over retail or commercial or consolidated post office or other type of large-scale assets, it starts to give people greater confidence, say, that's why I want to come back. That's a pretty, and Mark Rohr, the city manager that's here in the back, he's used the word, that's the cool factor that would encourage people to want to come back into this particular area.